that's the downfall, having spouses that work in the same workplace. But if it's a problem, you let me know. It makes for a mess. And then whoever that is, man, we get a small view of what's going on.
Just want to make sure she's clear.
I think I might get a position coming up, maybe an elevated position for benefits. He's good at what he does. It's the people part. He's struggling. I can't fix it. I don't know how to fix it. And he's not crossing. There's a way to get better results. How's your crowd doing? Feeling holding? Better than that? What's the chance to get up to you in your office? What's like, or down to?
I hate shit. But when I crack it, as long as it's got it, I turn my
I actually catch myself when I'm kind of empty and walking. I did that a couple times. By the time I walk out, I look up, I'm like, oh.
You have to just let it be every day.
No,
Set the
we had
precedent.
a person that was there that was just slamming.
Yeah, you can't have that. Oh, I get so sick of personality. Pretty sharp personality. I'm good with it. So I'm like, what are you doing? I know that's bad to say, but it's true.
Because we tell him that he's went to Texas.
That's the best extra around. It's good. The service is really good.
And quick.
Is that their own win? step over. Or you can go back here. Yeah, you go back here. Probably want to stay. Texas is better for the middle.
Hey, how's it going?
Really? Looks sharp. Yeah. There's a lot of good shit over there. I never know why. But there's dessert places. Next to over there in Texas, there's a place called Confection. They sell cake by the slice. Every little one slice, you know, split it. Then you eat it up in about 4 or 5 minutes.
I was asking Mary how deep it was. It's very deep.
There's another place that does smoke cakes called Commercial
But,
Cakes.
yeah, we went
And they
there.
sell minis.
Yes. We went in, I went and got the carrot one.
Everything you do. That's what I got on her for assistance. I got her assortment and then got her some split out of the staff. Sure.
And then one of them managers said, the real one is that
I didn't get my assistant. Like, real people. I just didn't stuff.
but she drinks Red Bull, so
That's bad. That's a drink over there still clean.
or still
Drink one. Back when we had the WS6 at the big church street. But I bought it about 45 miles on it. You know, the oil change accident. I pulled away something. And the Marine Corps ran all these police records. I was going to help them. So we took at least 12 hours. Typically, you can't leave at 12 hours.
How you been doing?
Oh, right. How about you?
That night got crazy. That's just the beginning of that crazy. And then I was thinking about it that aspect. She gave me that really fancy bravado watch. At the time, was really nice. Right? So I get in front of the magistrate. I was like, yo, I ain't gonna get my hours right. I don't get paid some more. And they're like, you ain't leaving. You can take your ticket. They took me to the machine, the ATM machine, tried to get me to pull money out of me somewhere. Took me back in front of the magistrate. Somebody feels watch. He goes, we'll hold it to you. I had to go. I mean, I knew if I didn't stay there, I was never. I said, okay, you hold it. I'll go back and get it.
never came back.
Well, they took it, made me sign a bunch of stuff, let me loose. And when I got the license, they took it, they started snowing. And I was on, I think it was 64, 65 north. It was a 65 north coming up. Snow on the ground in that part of the Here come these three little deer across the interstate. And I was going doing about 20, and I hit one when I did that part of the just going down the ravine, hit both of me, blew all the way out. No glasses. Bumped the front and back of it. And I was the only one on there, dude. I crawled up and made that coffee I got in the I was burning coffee. And this little guy comes by, it's Kentucky Gear. He goes, he goes, you all right? I said, yeah, my ego was a little bruised. He's like, I changed up the hill and see if I run out. So he pulled up the hill and he goes, you've been waiting for time. He goes, this is going to be 4 or 5 hours for me. Okay. So he pulled it up the hill. I started it raining. No glass in it. I drove 115 miles of road. When I pulled up, my hand was getting relief. I pulled up and corner and it was basically I ended up having, I got the car fixed. The guy actually fixed it that I knew, rebuilt it. And long story short, I ended up getting rid of the car because it was never made. But I flew back home while the car was being worked on. And when I got back to base, I said, hey, I got friends that I need to go out. I was like, I need to watch this again. It's in a show that there that I never received the process of paperwork on the back if it convicted me. The movie about I lost my license for a year. I never knew it. It was a full year. Anything you were saying was here. My license was to be reinstated. I got a letter from the Kentucky State. My license was still suspended because of moving. So basically, I spent a day with this new license. I had a DWI because my insurance was really oh, it was crazy. Crazy trip.
Really? Almost a song.
Never knew. Oh, you want to come in this way? Okay. Nobody. You can sit next to me. We're going to pray him in there. Make sure we got the ringers off. Yeah. How you been, baby? Good. Keeping it maybe level. That's right. I hadn't seen it. Do you mind if I look at that, Mr. Daniel?
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Let's put together, Will. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Tired.
Yeah, me too. Today's been long. Yeah. Jeffrey. Awards and recognition. Is that is okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is it? Where you say that's considered a joint? That's a big area. Do you know Pam West? Do you know Ms. West?
Do I know about that?
Retired school teacher.
Mary. Oh, yeah, she probably.
She called me about 3-4 times a week. Yeah, I know why.
I'll call you later. You should, but you kept saying that.
She wants to check her neighbor, at least in their days.
I'd like to call to order the regular scheduled meeting of the Blackman City Council. It is currently 7 o'clock. This time I'd like to ask everyone to please stand, observe the moment of prayer. Thank you. This time I'd like City Clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Knight. Blackwell.
Here.
Joyner.
Here.
TJ Walker.
Here.
Daughtry.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Morris Walker.
Here.
We have a forum. This time we'll proceed on. I see we have Mr. Davidson in the audience, and she say thank you for coming. This time that brings us to item number 4 on our agenda, which is consideration of the minutes of the regular rescheduled committee of the whole meeting on January 13th, 2025. Also, the minutes of the regular scheduled city council meeting which was held on March 24th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as written?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Harris, seconded by Councilman Joyner. Is there a need for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, that brings us to consideration of additions or deletions to the agenda. In our committee of the whole, we decided to postpone item 13A until our next meeting. We discussed adding the restaurant catalyst renewable loan tonight, the applications, but I think it's in our best interest to postpone that to the next meeting as well, until we can identify who all of the applicants are. So with that, are there any other additions or deletions to the agenda? All right, hearing none, I'll turn it over to our city manager, Elton Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. As you all are aware, summer events are underway. So here's what we have for the next couple of weeks. Applications are now being accepted for 3 of the city's housing programs. Application period for the housing rehab program, the housing repair, and the matching rebate program will be open until June 27th. For more information, visit the Housing and Community Development page on the city's website at rockymountainc.gov. Downtown Live. Legacy Motown Review will take the stage this week on Thursday, June 12th, starting at 6 p.m. Next, we have our Juneteenth Community Empowerment Festival. This will be the 20th anniversary of the Juneteenth Community Empowerment Festival. This year, it will start on June 20th through June 22nd in downtown. Friday, June 20th will be at the 5 Points marked downtown from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And it would feature the EU band, which is, I think that's a go-go band, if I'm not mistaken. The train station lawn will be the site for the other 2 days, and that will feature Big Daddy Kane, and on Sunday with gospel, John P. Key and the New Life Performing. For more information, visit our downtownrockymountain.com. And last but not least, this is just an update on the City Hall and other city functions for the Juneteenth holiday. On Thursday, June 19th, city offices and facilities will be closed, and the Tar River Transit will not operate in honor and celebration of the Juneteenth holiday. Garbage and recycling yard waste will be collected as normal. Sunset Spray Park and Dent Street Pool will both be open. The times for each are listed on the screen. Anyone doesn't have any questions, that will be my report for the city manager's update.
Okay, any questions from Manager Daniels? All right, hearing none, we'll move right on to item number 7. This time I'd like to ask Jonathan Aben and Maya Battle Preston, the 2025 recipients of the Curtis New Junior Scholarship Award, to please come forward. So on behalf of the city of Rocky Mount, we are proud to present to both of you folks for all your hard work and diligence, the Curtis New Junior Scholarship. So thank y'all very much for your efforts and what you do to basically represent the city of Rocky Mount in such an outstanding way. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. This time I'd like to invite Mr. Archie Jones to come forward and make the next presentation.
Mayor and City Council, thank you this evening. Just briefly, I want to take a moment to allow the Edgemont Community Neighborhood Association and other neighborhood associations to come up. They have a presentation they want to present to Mr. Barney for his dedication and his hard work to preserving the older neighborhood. And so he has put a lot of effort and time over the years at preserving these neighborhoods, and Edgemont Neighborhood Association would like to present him for plaque.
Y'all don't mind doing y'all don't mind doing a picture.
We'd like to say that we want to welcome our new city manager, Mr. Daniels, knowing that he will be very in our corner, all of us neighborhood, working for the community of Rocky Mount. We'd like to say thank you, thank you, thank you for coming aboard.
Big smile. 3, 2, and. 1 more. 3, 2, and. Actually.
That brings us to item number 8 on our agenda, which are petitions to be received from the public. This is an opportunity for public comment, and we thank you for coming to the city council meeting tonight to share your views. We value all citizen input. Speaker comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes during the public comment period. And at the conclusion of 3 minutes, each speaker shall leave the podium. Comments must be directed to the full board, not an individual board member or staff members. Although the board is interested in your comments, speakers should not expect any comments, action, or deliberation from the board on any issue raised during the public comment period. At the board's discretion, it may refer issues to the appropriate city officials or staff for further investigation. If an organized group is present to speak on a common issue, please designate one person to speak on the group or to present the group's comments, which shall be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. This time I'd like to invite Butch Dancy to the podium.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
should we, help remind everybody that this is not regarding the public hearing we got on the budget?
That's absolutely correct. This is different in the public hearing. You're right. When I opened that up, if you're here to speak for the public hearing, please just wait. I'll go through this.
City look fancy, still about 1591 Pine Dogs, 127 Leeway Lane, Colorado. I just want to, stand before you and say, I want to thank, Mr. Bonner engineer and also, Mr. Daniels. It just feels a whole different atmosphere in the rooms. And I know y'all got some difficult situations y'all got to deal with, but I hope you don't put the burden on the employees. I've been to several meetings and I've seen the, several council members asking for information and we kept saying, it's on the way. And, it looks like, in a mess now. So I hope you get it right, but again, like I said, I hope you don't put the burden on the employees. Because some of the council members was trying to make sure it didn't get to this point. So you all, especially the ones that won't listen, I hope y'all do what's right. Again, thank you, Mr. Daniel. It looks good in here. I love it. I work on my job 38 years. It looks good when your folk are in the room. Because if anybody got some questions or just to know who they are. So again, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Erwin Shankarelli. Did I get that right? Halfway close, maybe.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ed Shankarelli, and I live here in Rocky Mount on South Church Street. I'm here tonight to bring to your attention a quality of life issue. The issue at hand is one that may cause serious health problems for local residents. I recently relocated here from up north. My new residence here was equipped with all new smoke carbon monoxide detectors, which all had to be disconnected because they were waking us up every single night. Recently, a very strong odor of diesel fuel continued to wake us up. At one morning, I noticed there was a fog about a foot high in my house. I proceeded to the front door and noticed 4 locomotives tied together in front of my property, which is approximately 600 feet away from the railroad track, CSX railroad. They remained there for hours. All of them were running. I contacted the EPA. They explained to me certain businesses nationwide are issued a certificate which allows them to pollute the air and waterways. 2 of these businesses are the railroads and salvage yards, of which we have many in our immediate area. Technology exists to minimize diesel pollution on motors. Perhaps this board can investigate to see if this technology is in use, and if not, why? All petroleum-based products contain carcinogens, which cause a multitude of health issues, specifically respiratory problems and cancer. I recently survived lung cancer and have no desire to go through that again because of diesel locomotives. There is a tree line at the tracks. Most trees appear to be unhealthy. I'm not a botanist, but perhaps the trains have something to do with the poor appearance. I don't know what can be done to protect the residents living nearby. Perhaps this board can assure us with some proof that we are not living in an unsafe environment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. This time I'd like to invite Otis Jordan to the podium.
You invited me because I didn't sign in sheet.
I'm sorry.
Are you inviting me to the podium?
Yes, sir, I am, because you've signed a sheet and, to discuss eminent domain, which is not actually a public hearing matter, but it is an item on our agenda. We did postpone item 13A, as it relates until the next meeting, but then item 13B is still on the agenda. Is that helpful?
Yes, well, that's the purpose of me going here, coming here and signing in was because of, item A, I think it was.
Okay, item A has been postponed, but, you still have 3 minutes here to speak to the back.
Okay, well, since I'm here, maybe I should go ahead and say something about the eminent domain. I've heard indirectly about it was being on the agenda for eminent domain for my property. And the thing about it is that, from what I understand on eminent domain law, North Carolina, chapter 48, stipulates a 30-day notice period, number one. And, so, but I haven't gotten any numbers. Like I said, I got it through, word of mouth from someone else. And I guess I don't have too much to say at this time about eminent domain, except that, and I'll tell this to the council, I think it's a kind of, in my case, in both cases, I think it's kind of a overstepping or abuse of the user in that domain in my situation. I don't think in that domain, but I think that's why I was taken off the agenda, because we're going to do further discussion. And the main thing is just compensation, which is guaranteed by the Constitution. So that's the main issue with the way you're proceeding with eminent domain. And I have a lot of other issues that I will, speak to you about in other circumstances. But I kind of think that, and in other words, speaking without really speaking like I expected to, it was going to be on the agenda. I'm just saying something because I'm standing in front of a microphone. I was at penalty listening to it, and the people in the community. So I wish I had something good to say. I like this. Well, I'll say this. You do your job as you were sworn to do it. And everything will be here. If you follow the same law that
Yes, sir.
that's the fail.
I will say this in response, eminent domain is the absolute measure of last resort, and everybody on city council takes it very seriously. The item was postponed in many cases because there was some additional information that we felt like our staff could interface with those on the list. And we felt it prudent to provide at least another 10 to 15 days to allow staff to have conversations to make sure that, that we're at an impasse or not. So that's really the point of the postponement tonight.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for allowing me to speak.
I'd like to invite Commissioner Robbie Davis to the podium.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Councilman, Manager Daniels, and my daughter, Senator Garth, to you, sir, from Wilmington. Very pleased to see you. She was very tickled to see you get the appointment. I'm Robbie Davis. I know people up there know that, but of course I'm here tonight representing the TDA, which is the Tourism Development Authority Board for Nash County. I need your help. Councilman, I need your help. Councilman, I need your help on this matter. That's why I'm here tonight. It's about House Bill HB 332, which was introduced in March the 6th, 2025. Your board chose to pass a resolution in favor of that bill about a month ago. I understand that. Our TDA board chose to pass a resolution against that bill. Just before y'all pass one forward. What I hope to do is avoid that situation again. I wonder how many of you, the bill, went away for quite a while, really almost 2 months, hadn't heard anything about it. But the bill, and I'm not sure why, I'm not sure if our action had anything to do with that, but the bill is on the move again. But it is a substantially different bill than what it was before. I asked you, have you reviewed the new bill as written? Still has the same bill number. And basically what it does is 90% of the bill is fine. And what it does is establish Rocky Mount to have its own TDA board and leaves Nash County with its TDA board. And that part, of course, is fine. There are two things in the bill that concerns Nash County, and I think it also concerns the county. The biggest thing is that the bill states that you cannot have an elected official on the TDA board moving forward in Nash County. Also says you cannot have one in the city of Rocky Mount. I would tell you that elected official on that board, we've had one on there since 1987 when the bill was first introduced. It's a big job for that council person to do that. He is the liaison, or she would be, between tourism board and your finance department. TDA tax collection is not that easy. You will have to establish positions in your finance department to handle that. Simply because the money doesn't come from the state. You have to collect it for each hoteler that collects the tax. And sometimes that goes good, sometimes it doesn't go good, just like property tax. But you do need that elected official on there to be able to constantly talk to your staff and keep the staff appraised of what the board's doing, particularly as it relates to the collection of the taxes.
Mr. Davis, I just want to note,
Yes,
the 3 minutes, but I'm going to take a moment of executive privilege and ask you to please continue. I just didn't want you to, the buzzer to sound on you before you made all your points.
That was a quick 3 minutes, but I understand, sir, and I appreciate that very much. I've got one more point to make.
Absolutely.
The other problem with the bill is on the Nash County side, it doesn't continue. It doesn't say that the Board of Commissioners will continue to appoint those positions on the TDA board. Our board desperately needs to appoint those members, as we always have since '87. On the Rocky Mountain side, it does say that you appoint those. But if y'all could help me with that a little bit, or help Nash County with that a little bit, it would be greatly appreciated. It's 2 minor points. I've tried to correct it, was unsuccessful. And of course, what I'd like to do is correct it in the House and not have to do it at the Senate and cause issues between the City Council and Nash County TDA board, or between the House and the Senate of North Carolina. Thank you for your time. Tonight, I am going to email you when I get home a copy of the new bill, just so you have it readily available, and I appreciate the privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This time I'd like to invite Antoinette Cutler.
Good evening. Mayor, Town Manager, congratulations, and Councilman. Good to see you on this afternoon. My name is Antoinette Cutler. I live here in the city of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I stand before you today because I want to thank Joel and our Parks and Recs for the I'm the president of the Hillsdale community, and also our city councilman, Andre Knight, for the trails that is being installed right now. I want to thank Joel for Parks and Rec for finding the money in the budget to come and make it right in the Hillsdale area for our trails. So hats off to our Joel and Parks and Rec this afternoon. Also, I'm not 3 years old, and my name is not John J. Sion. But because he just had a baby sister, he was so excited about it until he said, Queen Mom, you're going to have to go and stand in the gap for me on this afternoon. So I have a message for you all on this afternoon from John J. Sion, Cutler Barbenchi. He says, hi, my name is John J. Sion, Cutler Barbenchi. I am the son of the late Sierra Cutler. She has left a legacy here, paving the way youth, in which a foundation that is in her name. I'm asking you to support me. I'm having a lemonade stand to raise money, to buy supplies for the back to school rally on August the 2nd at 2 to 4 p.m. in the Hillsdale Park. And we will be having the lemonade stand at 1604 Barnes Street, my mom's house of love. Stop by and support the Hillsdale children. These funds will go back into the community to support them returning back to school. I'm expecting to see all of you, you city councilmen, town mayor, and fire department, police department, and human relations. Thanks, human relations, for helping me get the word out also. And come out and support me. And when you support me, you support all the children of the Hillsdale community. Thanking you in advance, John J. Sion.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Veronica Jennings to the podium.
I'm going to be speaking about the budget, so should I wait?
Yes, ma'am. If you'll just wait. I've got 3 people who want to confirm speaking to the budget. That's you. It's Mrs. Jean Kitchen and Brent Wilson. Is that correct? Okay. We'll wait till that public hearing, and I'll call you at that time. All right, that concludes our petitions to be received from the public, and we now item number 9, which is our consent agenda. Let's see. So at this point, I'll receive a motion to approve the consent agenda, which is inclusive of the approved tax releases, the adopt ordinance and resolutions, approved water assessment contract, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the contract on behalf of the city, authorize the mayor and city attorney to execute certifications and assurances, approve the Second Amendment, and authorize the mayor to execute on behalf of the city, adopt a resolution certifying sufficiency of petition for annexation, and adopt resolution scheduling a public hearing for July 14th of 2025, and instruct the Department of Development Services to prepare a feasibility study. Also to award a duty badge and sidearm, to adopt a resolution accept offer to purchase surplus property, approve right to purchase agreement, and authorize mayor and city clerk to execute deeds and other such documentation to convey the property, authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the lease on behalf of the city, and authorize the mayor to execute pre-application documents, and authorize the staff to submit a pre-application on behalf of the city. Is there a motion? Motion made by Councilman Joyner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman DeBarge Walker. Is there any for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, that brings us to item number 10, which is public hearing relative to the proposed budget for fiscal year 2025 and 2026. This time, I'd like to invite members of the public to please come forward and speak. At this time, I have, I'd like to invite you.
Thank you. Again, my name is Jean Kitchen. And I want to thank all of you, Mayor Robertson, members of the council, town city manager, Jim Daniels, welcome to you. And thank you for letting me speak. I was publicly elected and ran for office several times and served on the National Rocky Mountain Board of Education for 9 years. So I do understand a little bit about what y'all, the amount of time and effort that you're putting into what you do. First, I want to compliment all of you for your selection of Mr. Daniels as city manager. He's been an employee for many years, so his skills and work experience are well known. Unlike the two previous city managers, Rochelle Small-Tony and Keith Rogers, who many believe cost us dearly to pay them out when they left, and many of the decisions they made when they were here impacted us negatively. I speak for many, many people in Rocky Mountain asking you to please allow Mr. Daniels to follow through on his advice and his budget. Admirably, he has studied it well and thinks that not filling the unfilled positions and finding other cost-cutting areas will lead to the fiscal outcome that our city needs without raising property taxes. Raising property tax to add money to the fund balance is to punish property owners for the mistakes of the two previous city managers whom we had no voice in their selection. Importantly, our city has a very high percentage of seniors. Our income is not based on a paycheck, but rather on Social Security or federal or state retirement pensions. Thus, many seniors on fixed incomes will be hurt by you if you increase property taxes. And of course, we know also the utility fees are going to go up. In conclusion, I really ask you please to trust and give Mr. Daniels a chance. He presented the budget. He said that he can handle it without a property tax increase, and I believe him and I trust him, and I would like for you to give him a chance to prove that he can do that. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Mr. Brent Wilson to the podium.
I must ask when multiple increases is enough. Power, water and sewer, county property tax, and now an extreme proposed city property tax hike. 3 of 4 this council has control of. When is enough? enough. As a council, you have a tough job to balance the budget. A 2-cent property tax increase would be a compromise. No capital projects should be approved given the tight budget. All the increase in city tax should be used to restore the unassigned fund balance. Much talk has been focused on the growth of the city, but no discussion has been on increasing the fees for new homes. 3 benefits to consider. 1. Increase revenue. 2. Increase property values. 3. More home remodels and repairs. I have no problem with the cost of living increase given the increases in prices. Any merit increase should follow past trends. The city must take care of employees and reward their hard work. 2 cents is enough for the property tax increase.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Veronica Jennings to the podium.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight. I am here in opposition to the proposed property tax increase, the 4 cents property tax increase. And I know there's a lot of fluidity with this revised budget that's been going around. So I'm going to speak to what the last version that I saw, which was one that was proposed for a 4 cent increase in taxes, property taxes, to raise $2.4 million, which happens to be the same amount that is being asked for cost of living raises, raises for the city employees who work very hard for what they're doing. But I do not think, and I concur with another speaker who just spoke here about seniors and on fixed income and having to pay taxes. We just went through a huge reassessment and paid a lot last year for taxes, and to come back and ask for homeowners to pay again 4 cents additional to give raises to city employees, well deserved. I think this council should go back to what the city manager put in his proposal. And he said to delay those cost of living increases until the middle of next year, to January, so he can see if this budget will be able to handle it. That's a physically sound and responsible avenue for this council to take, rather than to try to give a cost of living increase to city employees that you're going to then take right back. Because many of those people are homeowners. They're also residents here. So the other increases that you're forcing, you're giving with one hand and taking it back with the other. And that's not right. It's a PR thing for the council, but it's not good for us who are out here. The other thing I want to speak on is the utility rate increase that you guys are considering. That utility rate increase, I believe, should go to businesses first and come to homeowners second. You're already hitting us with increases in water, sewer, and environmental services. Your flyer here says it's $2.25 increased monthly solid waste. That's incorrect. And I want the council to be more transparent, because the full cost of it, as I see in the budget that was presented by the city manager, it's $7.25 a month when you add all of the fees in there. So that is an incorrect amount. I would ask that this council be more transparent with the residents about what you're doing with this budget before it is passed, before the final vote on June 23rd. I would also like to ask that, I guess my time is up, but I'm going to conclude right now, because I want more transparency and some clarification about this property tax rate, because it is wrong for you to do that to us 2 years in a row. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jennings. Is there any other member of the public that wishes to speak to our proposed budget? Is there, yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening, I should say, Bronson Williams. I, will say, that it looks like the council that made an excellent choice in hiring Manager Daniels and all the accolades that he is getting on tonight, for his proposed budget. The original budget, which I too, agreed with the budget that Elton Daniels actually presented with no increase in property taxes, for the residents. However, after listening to, and being a part of the city council, budget work session and things of that nature, and seeing also how critical it is to resume or get fund balance where it needs to be. We don't need LGC to come looking at the city for some things. However, another however, I guess, the 2% that the gentleman just talked about a few moments ago is seen to be a compromise number for the fund balance situation. But again, the original budget did propose $1.5 million back to the fund balance. Looking at now with the modified budget of a general fund being $97,860,000, meaning your fund balance need to be at $7,828,000, being at 8%. And understand that you may close somewhere around $5.5 million. You're still a long ways off from that. And speaking of that same situation dealing with LGC, the city currently have a policy that talks about 10% maintaining a fund balance. Would it be wise for the city council to look at modifying such policy in short, as they are getting back up to a level, because oftentimes people are penalized or foundings are made based on cities not meeting their own policy. And so that's an easy fix you can fix before the situation and get ahead of it and not after, but also put in place that you would try to get back to 10%. That is the pleasure of the council, but just thinking about that as well. And the other piece as it relates to the budget process, a great process in 2025, I must say, seeing the openness and discussion, deliberation between council members, that took us back to old times of how I remember the city council operating in the past with the budget process. And I think you've got a pretty good solid document, whether it's a 4%, whether it's 2%, or whether it's no percent. I do believe that the staff that is here at City Hall, along with leadership of the council, will certainly work tirelessly to get it right and get it fixed and work in the best interest of the residents of Rocky Mount.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Is there any other member of the public who wishes to speak to our proposed budget? Yes, ma'am.
I don't have much to say. My name is Regina Townsend, and I am a citizen of Rocky Mount. And I sometimes generally help the elderly to the city to pay bills. And I take care of our young man's bills. And when I first began with him in 2018, his city taxes were $520. When I went last year to pay his city taxes, his city taxes jumped $729. This is a bedridden, total care person of Rocky Mount. And I couldn't believe the increase from 23, 24, 25. When I paid 25 city taxes, 24 city taxes, it's $200 more than it was a year ago. That was a big increase. And this gentleman is on a fixed income. He's a New York police officer, and he chose to come to Rocky Mount to stay. And that's a big increase for someone that's on a fixed income. And it is what it is, but that is a big increase. And you have to consider the elderly as well as whomever may need, maybe it is the reason for the increase. But it is a big increase for someone on fixed income. It really is. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Townsend.
Nobody wants higher taxes, including myself, right? That's true. But we also have to understand that everything's getting more expensive right now, right? Everything. We go to the store, everything is more, right? Everybody needs to be able to also get a big increase, be able to pay for these taxes and pay for these groceries that keep going up. So we need to take all of that into consideration too. So what I would like to say is, welcome. I'm excited that you are a known entity. I'm excited to see all the great things that you're gonna do. I hope that we give Mr. Daniels the opportunity to actually lead and do and manage the city. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. But I also would like you all to take into consideration and think about what are some ways that we can get some revenue into the city. Let's bring in more businesses. Let's figure out how we can get more revenue so that we can take the burden off of our residents, including myself, who I'm also a resident, right? If we can figure out ways to bring some income into the city, to generate some income, then that's less money that we all have to pay in taxes, right? So I just want to challenge us to think about that. I know I talk about grants all the time. Y'all are probably sick of hearing me say that all the time. And I know that right now there are a lot of programs that are being cut. This administration is stopping a lot of that. But there's also a lot of grants that are available. I recently just helped apply for a grant that we then decided we were not going to accept. So I challenge us to really think outside the box and work with these foundations that are willing to support us and pay for things like training and stuff like that, that we then don't have to use our tax money for, and we can use our tax money for other things.
If I could just ask you to read your name into the record, I know who you are, but
Bianca Davis.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the public who wishes to speak on the proposed budget? Good.
My name is Kevin Ford, and I live in the hills, 13, and I want to like, if y'all raising taxes on property, could we at least be able to do what we want to do on our private property? Like, if I want to build a shed or something, or sell cars out my yard, I can't do nothing. I got the property, but I can't do nothing. I can't even get like an electrical hookup on my property, like to start to build a tiny home or something. I can't do nothing with property. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to.
Well, there are certain permissible uses, and I think Mr. Cook could probably help you with that as you go forward. So they're two separate issues, but I certainly understand.
Like what? Talk help?
Yes, sir. I think you'll find you'll at least have understanding at the conclusion of what we're permissible uses versus not. Thank you, sir. Is there any other member of the public who wishes to speak on our budget? Any member wants to speak to the budget? Okay, well, this time I'll close the public hearing and want to thank everybody who participated for your thoughts. They are important to us. It does make a difference in terms of how council considers things going forward. This time, there's consideration of the recommendations from the planning board meeting, which was held on May 13th. I'm sorry, my apologies. Councilman T.J. Walker, I'll acknowledge you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank all constituents that did come out to voice your opinion on the public hearing, and I would encourage others to continue to stay involved and to get involved into the process, because without the input, it falls on just us to make decisions. So thank you all, constituents that did come out tonight, and to bravely encourage you to stand and voice your opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there any other member of council who wants to speak? Okay. Then that takes us to item number 11 on the agenda, which is consideration of the recommendations of the planning board meeting, which was held on May 13th, 2025, to acknowledge receipt of the planning board minutes. And the overview of the press. So I'll at this time ask Victor, you'll come to the podium, give us an outline of the rezoning request that has been recommended for approval found in compliance by the comprehensive plan. And that time I will then open up the floor to public comment.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Joseph Cook, Director of Development Services here with the city. At their meeting last month, the planning board considered the request to rezone the property on East Raleigh Boulevard, made up of 2 parcels with an area of about 1/3 of an acre. They're on the south side of East Raleigh Boulevard at the corner of Orange Street. They're presently zoned residential. However, the property owner, Mr. George Berth, has requested they be rezoned to accommodate commercial development. There are existing properties to the east across Orange Street that are also zoned commercial. The Raleigh Road, Raleigh Street corridor plan adopted in 2011 designated the future use of this portion of the thoroughfare as a mix of residential and commercial development. The Development Review Committee and Planning Board have recommended approval on the basis that the zoning map amendment can be considered consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan, and it's reasonable and in the public interest.
Thank you. Any member of council have a question for Mr. Bucko regarding this project? Okay, thank you. Is there any member of the public who is here to speak to the rezoning request of 1019, 1023 East Raleigh Boulevard, totaling approximately 1/3 acre, to rezone from R6 MFA to B2? Is there any member of the public? Yes, please come forward.
Good evening,
Good
council,
evening.
mayor, and city manager. My name is Carolyn Middleton, and my property is located at 1100 East Raleigh Boulevard. And I do have concerns with changing the property you're mentioning to a commercial property, as our property now is residential. I am concerned about if it's changed to commercial, what are you gonna bring in there? That is really right at my home. And we have enough problems along Raleigh Boulevard with speeders. There's a liquor store on the corner. I'm just concerned about what's gonna go up in that location as a commercial property. And this is my husband, Robert. He can probably speak a little better than I can on this issue, because we both have strong feelings.
I can't speak any better than However, that property and the location is a very congested area. And one of the concerns is the amount of traffic that is currently existing on that whole street, and the limited access for commercial property would tend to really make that a little bit worse.
Basically, that's all I have to say. I am not in favor of changing that location to commercial property, as it's right in my backyard.
And changing it to commercial property does increase the amount of traffic that area gets.
Yeah, we already have a liquor store on the corner there, and that is a concern. I can't agree with changing that commercial property. Let it remain residential if possible.
Mr. and Mrs. Middleton, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Mr. McCook, I'm speaking to what B2 Commercial Corridor District means in terms of allowed uses, because I'm sure that would be a question. And what the process has been going prior to the rezoning, that's generally a question the council has concern with.
Yes, sir. The property as presently zoned is multifamily residential, which generally allows for development of housing ranging from a single family home to multi-family development. Given the limited size of the property, any use that's developed once the property is zoned to commercial will have a somewhat limited impact, just given the, again, physical constraints of developing something that would be a mass generator of traffic on the site. I mentioned the Development Review Committee had reviewed and approved the request, or recommended approval of the request to rezone the property. That involves staff from different departments across the organization, and all gave input stating that from their perspective, if the rezoning was approved, there would be minimal impact to services that the city provides.
Thank you. Anybody have any other questions? Is there any other member of the public who wishes to speak on this rezoning request regarding 1019 and 1023 East Raleigh Boulevard? Is there any other member of the public who wishes to speak to this particular rezoning request? Okay, hearing none, I'll close the public comment. This time, we'll receive a motion to adopt the ordinance. At least council, yes, sir. Councilman T.J. Walker, I'll acknowledge.
I just wanted to ask, the Middletons, with hearing that information provided from staff, if that changed their support. Did that change your support, for the rezoning at all, from hearing what staff just presented?
I'm sorry, no, yes, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Councilman Blackwell, you have the floor.
So I was prepared to make a motion.
Right, okay. I'll receive the motion.
Thank you. I move to, receive the request from the planning board, the planning department, after studying science, to approve the request to rezone that property to a commercial or district, in line with most of what is taking place there and what will be taking place.
Let's have a motion that we have received the request and the recommendation and to approve the ordinance as written. Is there a second? Second. A second by Councilman T.J. Walker and a second by Councilman Joyner. Is there a need for further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. The ordinance has been adopted. Brings us to item number 12, consideration of a purchase agreement with the estate of Mildred Gallup for property located at 326 Albemarle Avenue. By this time, I'll receive a motion to approve the purchase agreement, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute the purchase agreement and other documents related to purchase of property on behalf of the city. Motion by Councilman Joyner. Is there a second by Councilman Harris? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Item carries. Item 13A, if you recall, we have postponed until the next scheduled city council meeting. That brings us to item 13B, which is the resolution to exercise the power of eminent domain to acquire certain interests in the following real property: 103 Atlantic Avenue and 111 Atlantic Avenue. Is there a motion to approve this? Motion made by Councilman, second by Councilman Joyner. Is there a need for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Item 14 is consideration of canceling the committee of the whole meeting, which is scheduled for August 11th, 2025 at 5 p.m. And the city council meeting is scheduled for August 11th at 7 p.m. due to conflict with the Literacy Conference. Is there a motion to approve cancellation of the meeting? So moved. Motion made by Councilman Harris, second by Councilman Joyner. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. That brings to conclusion the items of business to approve the board's discussed tonight. Councilmember have anything to say? Hearing none, I'll now adjourn the meeting.
All right. How you All right. Hey, on order.
How you doing tonight? Good to see you. How you doing tonight?
I think we can do it. Yeah, I'll come, Mark. We haven't even seen the height of it yet. And I'll send you,
Well, this is the latest one I gave you. This is color. But let me just give you some expectations on this on that.
I didn't do those things. I'm not.
Yeah.